In nature, no two hunts are alike, but every chase begins with observation and waiting. When the opportunity arises, speed and coordination instantly replace the previous stillness. The prey reacts with formation and stamina, while the predator takes advantage of every small misstep. These are some of the most dramatic hunts and chases ever recorded. On the edge of the savanna, a herd of African buffalo moved slowly, each individual maintaining a safe distance to protect one another. Adult buffalo are massive and quick to react to danger. As the herd advanced through the tall grass, a male lion lay silently among the stalks, waiting for the opportune moment. The lion kept its body almost motionless to avoid detection. When the distance was close enough, it suddenly leapt from its hiding place. The buffalo scattered in panic. In that moment of chaos, a slower reacting individual was separated from the group. The lion quickly locked onto its target and accelerated for a short distance. It avoided a long chase to prevent unnecessary energy expenditure. In just a few decisive seconds, the buffalo was subdued. The hunt ended swiftly. The lion's success depends not only on strength, but also on choosing the right target and timing. The element of surprise always plays a crucial role. On the vast steppe, a single mistake can determine the outcome of survival. In the open field where two ostriches were foraging, their nearly 9-foot-tall bodies and weights that can exceed 250 pounds made them one of the largest birds still in existence. Their long legs allowed them to run at speeds of up to 40 miles per hour for short distances. However, their large size also made them difficult to maneuver when surrounded, and a pack of cheetahs recognized this opportunity. One cheetah took the lead, accelerating to close the gap. Speeds reaching nearly 60 miles per hour allowed it to quickly close in on its target. When the ostriches turned to flee, the other cheetahs immediately joined in, moving in multiple directions to restrict their escape routes and create a pincer movement. The chase ended when the entire group simultaneously closed in and brought down one individual. With prey as large as an ostrich, individual speed alone was not enough to guarantee success. Precise coordination between individuals is what ultimately determines the outcome. On the open grasslands, cooperation is the strategy that allows predators to overcome their own limitations. On the edge of the low grasslands, herds of wildebeest move in long lines, each individual weighing between 400 and nearly 600 pounds and capable of maintaining speeds of almost 50 miles per hour over short runs. Their strength lies in numbers and synchronized movement. However, when a cheetah alliance appears in the distance and begins to close the gap, pressure builds at the edge of the herd. The chase begins almost immediately. One cheetah accelerates decisively, forcing the herd to change direction abruptly. In that disruption, a slower reacting individual is separated from the main group. The remaining cheetahs quickly coordinate, moving in an arc to prevent the prey from returning to the herd. The distance is closed in a matter of seconds. Thanks to their coordinated efforts, the target is controlled and the hunt ends quickly. With cheetahs, success rarely comes from individual speed. By separating a weak or slow individual from the herd, group tactics significantly increase the chances of successful hunting on the vast savanna. Near the edge of the grassy clearing where sunlight streamed down, adult male impalas, weighing between 100 and 150 pounds and capable of speeds of nearly 50 miles per hour when escaping, were known for leaps of over 10 feet to change direction unexpectedly. However, when the two males locked horns in a short but fierce struggle, their attention was entirely focused on the opponent in front of them. In the shade of the bushes, a leopard remained low and motionless. It watched the movements of the two impalas, waiting for the moment they both turned sideways, exposing a gap behind them. When one slipped slightly in a powerful thrust, the leopard would instantly surge forward with a short burst of speed, lunging straight at the outstretched individual. The entire sequence lasted only seconds. The impala didn't have time to turn to exploit its inherent speed and was quickly subdued. Leopards succeed not through long chases, but through patience and choosing the right moment. On the savanna, victory often belongs to the one who knows how to wait. On open ground and dry gravel, adult guineafowl, weighing about 3 to 4 pounds, usually move in flocks to increase their early warning capabilities. They can take off quickly, but only fly low and for short distances, relying heavily on collective reflexes to escape. When the entire flock is preoccupied with foraging and constantly looking down at the ground, their vigilance begins to wane. Hiding at the edge of the bushes, a leopard observes every small movement. It maintains a close enough distance to shorten its reaction time. When the flock suddenly flaps its wings and takes off in a chaotic flurry, the leopard immediately springs forcefully from its hind legs, aiming directly at the individual that has just left the ground. The moment is fleeting. The bird is caught before it can reach a safe altitude and is quickly subdued. The successful hunt is not due to endurance, but to the precise timing of the takeoff. In nature, reflexes and patience often determine the outcome. Even a slight slowdown in flight is enough to give the predator the chance to complete its decisive jump. In the middle of a wide river where crocodiles reign supreme, a male lion weighing approximately 400 to 500 pounds is forced to swim across to the other side. On land, it is a top predator with impressive strength and acceleration. But when its body is submerged in deep water, each leg movement becomes slow and inflexible. As the lion approaches the middle of the river, the water behind it stirs slightly. A crocodile approaches from underwater and suddenly lunges to attack from behind. The impact throws the lion off balance, forcing it to spin and struggle violently to escape the pull. The tense struggle lasts only a few seconds. Thanks to its decisive reaction and the short distance to shore, the lion escapes the grip and swims quickly to land. It reaches the shore safely, avoiding serious injury. There is no absolute winner in this encounter. On land, the lion has the advantage. But in the aquatic environment, the crocodile holds the upper hand. When entering the territory of another species, the balance of power can quickly shift. On the North American grasslands, adult bison can weigh from 1,000 to over 2,000 pounds, with outward curving horns and shoulders as high as a moving wall. When threatened, bison herds often huddle together in a circle, heads turned outward to protect the young in the center. But at the edge of the herd, a pack of gray wolves has begun moving in a wide formation. The wolves don't charge in immediately. They constantly change direction, trying to force the herd apart and drag a weak individual out of the protective circle. When the bison suddenly switch to running, the defensive formation opens up for a brief moment. A young one can't keep up the pace and falls behind. The pack immediately closes the gap, coordinating their efforts to close in until the target is under control. The hunt ends quickly, enough to provide food for the entire pack for days. A wolf's success doesn't rely on sheer strength alone. Patience, coordination, and exploiting moments of prey disorganization are key. On the vast savanna, tactics often outweigh size. On the frigid tundras of North America, adult caribou can weigh between 250 and 400 pounds and move in large packs to increase their ability to detect danger. Their long legs help them traverse deep snow and maintain a steady pace over long distances. But when the prolonged migration season depletes their strength, the gray wolf pack begins to follow closely behind. The wolves don't rush to speed up. They spread out in a wide formation, constantly changing direction to put pressure on the edge of the pack. When a young individual stumbles on soft snow and slows down for a few seconds, the protective distance is immediately widened. The pack accelerates at the right moment, taking turns closing in to prevent prey from returning to the main group. The chase doesn't last long before the target is controlled. The outcome favors the pack. For the caribou, strength lies in the synchronization of the entire pack. For the wolves, the advantage comes from patience and coordination. In harsh environments, even a single moment of separation from the group can change the course of survival. From the African savannas to the North American tundra, every hunt reveals the fine line between control and loss of advantage. It's not just speed or strength that determines the outcome, but timing, coordination, and the ability to capitalize on the slightest misstep. Predator and prey coexist in an ever-changing balance. In nature, it is these decisive moments that create some of the most incredible hunts and chases ever recorded.
On the African savanna, lions are considered top predators, distinguished by their strength, speed, and calculated approach. Each attack is swift and precise, aiming to finish off their prey before it can react. However, not every approach goes as planned. In many cases, the environment, the prey's reflexes, and biological limitations cause the attack to fail, reversing the balance of survival. Rhinoceroses are among the largest animals on the African savanna, with massive bodies, thick skin, and hard horns that act as a natural defense mechanism. They are not predators, but they have almost no obvious weaknesses for others to exploit. When a lion appears, the rhino doesn't hunt or pursue. The approach stems from an extremely sensitive sense of smell, reacting to the scent of meat and the predator's scent in the air. This is risk control behavior, aimed at identifying and repelling a potential threat. The lioness quickly assesses the situation. The distance is close, but the probability of harm is too high. As the rhino continues to advance at a steady pace, the lioness chooses to retreat. It's a correct decision, not a lack of resolve. Even male lions wouldn't risk such an opponent. A rhinoceros is a mobile weapon, leaving no openings and not worth the risk. The approach ends in silence. In nature, even top predators know when to back down when the risks exceed acceptable limits. Giraffes are the tallest herbivores on the savanna, with long legs and incredibly powerful kicks. Their exceptional physique allows them to observe far and control their surroundings. When danger arises, giraffes don't always have safe space to escape. When a lion approaches, the giraffe doesn't turn and flee. Instead, it maintains its position and adjusts its posture, ready to react. In a confined space, running away can increase the risk rather than decrease it. The kicks are not intended for pursuit or reckless attack. The goal is to create distance, forcing the lion to stay safe and preventing it from getting closer. Each movement is controlled, utilizing height and reach to maintain a defensive advantage. The situation ends when neither side advances further. The lion retreats when it realizes the risks outweigh the benefits. The giraffe continued to move at a slow pace. This was active defense, not recklessness. In nature, sometimes standing firm is more effective than running away. Zebras are herbivores with a high level of collective reflexes and a fierce ability to react when their young are in danger. Their strong bodies, powerful legs, and constant vigilance mean they don't rely solely on fleeing. For a mother, zebra, protecting her offspring is the absolute priority. When a lion approaches and tries to separate her cub from the herd, the reaction isn't one of retreat. The mother zebra immediately turns around and charges directly at the threat. These quick approaches and decisive movements force the lion to retreat to avoid unnecessary risk. Faced with direct pressure, the lion abandons its target. This isn't a failure, but a choice for survival. Continuing the approach could lead to serious injury, affecting its ability to hunt later. The encounter ends in a few brief moments. The mother zebra brings her cub back to the group, while the lion leaves. In nature, knowing when to give up is also a vital survival skill to be able to hunt again tomorrow. Hyenas survive on the savanna by exerting pressure through numbers and coordinated behavior. A single individual may not be physically imposing, but when operating in large groups, they create enough psychological pressure to influence the reactions of surrounding species. When a lion appears, hyenas don't seek direct confrontation. They maintain distance, circle around, and observe the situation. In this scenario, the male lion doesn't need to attack or approach. Its mere presence is enough to change the dynamics. The psychological pressure shifts rapidly. Hyenas, despite their numerical advantage, clearly recognize the power hierarchy before them. The lion's deep growl, steady stance, and confidence convey a clear message of its accumulated dominance. No clash occurs. The hyenas gradually disperse, choosing to retreat rather than continue exerting pressure. In nature, conflicts often end before violence occurs, if one party understands its place within the ecological order. Wilds are herbivores with a thick body structure, strong shoulders, and high stress tolerance. They aren't known for their burst of speed, but they possess great endurance and a strong biological response when cornered in dangerous situations. In moments of tension, the wildebeest's body releases adrenaline, increasing muscle strength and blurring the sensation of pain. When a young lion approaches, it assumes its prey is exhausted after the chase. This is a common assessment among inexperienced individuals. In many hunts, this assessment is enough to end the approach. But when the wildebeest unexpectedly turns back to fight, the roles are instantly reversed in seconds. The strong and decisive movements completely disrupt the lion's approach. Faced with this unexpected situation, the young lion chooses to retreat early, prioritizing safety over continuing the risk. The approach ends in silence. The lion leaves when it realizes the risks outweigh the benefits. Not all prey will accept a fate when cornered. In nature, experience in assessing risk is just as important as physical strength. African buffalo are herbivores with a tightly structured social system and the ability to assess long-term threat. A mature individual typically weighs over 1,000 pounds, moves in large herds, and rarely separates from the group. When faced with a threat, buffalo do not react hastily, but maintain their position to protect each other. lions approach from the edge of the herd, seeking opportunities to create chaos. A familiar tactic is to pressure an individual, forcing it to leave the group. However, in open space and against an organized buffalo herd, this approach quickly reveals its risks. The buffalo do not flee. They advance in a controlled manner, maintaining short distances between individuals and focusing their attention on the danger. The fact that a young lion is trapped near the herd shows that the buffalo are not just reacting immediately, but are actively eliminating the future threat. It was only when a tree unexpectedly fell that the situation changed. This wasn't the result of tactics or strength, but a random environmental event. The lion was forced to retreat when the opportunity was gone. In nature, survival is sometimes determined by timing and luck, not just by strategy or strength. Crocodiles are dominant predators in rivers and swamps. Their short stature, strong muscles, and powerful jaws give them absolute control over the aquatic environment. In the water, crocodiles don't need high speed. They rely on position and timing to gain an advantage. As the lion approaches the riverbank, the balance of power begins to shift. On land, the lion has speed and the ability to evade. But once it steps into shallow water, those advantages quickly disappear. Movement slows, reflexes are limited, and the escape space narrows significantly. The crocodile doesn't need to finish immediately. Its goal is simply to drag its opponent into deeper water, where all the advantages belong to the ambusher. Faced with this threat, the lion realizes that each step forward increases the risk exponentially. The approach ends prematurely. The lion retreats from the water's edge, abandoning its intention when the opportunity is no longer within its control. Both are top-tier assassins, but each species is only invincible within its own environment. In nature, territory determines dominance, not reputation or sheer strength. Hippopotamuses are herbivorous animals with a semi-aquatic lifestyle, spending most of their time in rivers and swamps. They don't hunt, but are known for their high aggression when intruders enter their territory. Their massive size, large jaws, and quick reflexes make hippopotamuses one of the most dangerous opponents around water sources. When the lion approached the riverbank, its initial goal wasn't clearly to hunt, but to gauge the hippopotamus's reaction. However, in a short time, the hippopotamus immediately demonstrated control of the space. Its proactive movements and unyielding attitude showed that it was not an opponent that could be easily intimidated. The lion quickly reassessed the situation. There was no safe approach angle, no obvious weak point, and every step forward increased the risk of serious injury. Faced with this reality, the lion chose to retreat, avoiding a confrontation that offered no chance of victory. The encounter ended without direct conflict. The the hippo continued to control its territory, while the lion left to seek other opportunities. In another species' territory, even the top predator is forced to retreat. Hunting is not just an action, but a series of consecutive choices under high pressure. A small misstep in timing or distance can reverse the entire situation. Retreating at the right time helps predators avoid irreparable losses. On the savanna, knowing when to stop is just as important as knowing when to advance.